How can you prepare for a high-stake presentation? This is where careers are made, legends are born, or deals are sealed, meaning everything you do has to come out as perfect. This is how I will do it. This is how I do it. First thing is to know your audience. If you don't know who you are talking to, you will be talking to yourself. And if you are talking to yourself, everyone else will be looking at their phones or talking to their friends, wondering when you will come out of stage and end them the nightmare they are facing. When you know your audience, you will be able to communicate to them and with them. If they are data-driven, tell them things about logic, about data. If they are visionaries, paint them a good vision or a picture looking ahead to the future. Know what they care about and give them exactly what they care about. You might think they understand what you are saying, but if they are not interested in it, then you will be doing zero work. Make sure that you've researched your audiences well. What do they like? Their preferences, their desires, what frustrates them. And make sure that in your presentation, you've covered everything that they like and you've presented the best presentation they can have. Second, have a killer opening and closing. A good opening is like a tattoo. It's hard to erase. They will always remember what you told them. And the closing, that's the mic drop moment that they will always remember after you've completed your speech. Make sure that your opening is something memorable and catchy that will catch their attention and keep them eager to listen for more of what you have to say. For instance, you can start with a bold statement. You can tell them, do you know that most successful people in the world don't work hard? They work smart. And then explain why you think so. You can also start with a starting statistic, like 75% of the entire population in the world is scared of public speaking. And then tell them how they can change that. You can start with a story or a metaphor. You can tell them something like, I almost didn't make it to this presentation today. My Uber driver took me 5 blocks away and I had to sprint 5 blocks in hills to get here on time. And if I can survive that, then I can also survive this presentation. When you have a nice opening, you build that instant connection with the audience. And it's no presentation if you don't have the ability to build this connection with the audience. And now the closing, make sure that it's memorable. This is the takeaway they will have. They may forget everything you said, but we hope they won't. But they remember that closing. You can end with a story or a metaphor. You can tell them, life is like a marathon. It doesn't matter how fast you start, but how well you finish. And then you can support that with what you've just covered in your presentation. Or you can give them a nice call to action. You can tell them, after you go home today, make sure that you summarize the things you want in life, your experiences, and how you will get to enjoy those experiences. That's a call to action, something that they should do or they can do. Also, you can end your story with a quote, a memorable one. You can tell them like, Maya Angelou said, most people won't remember what you said, but they will always remember what you made them feel. That's the key takeaway that they will go remembering from your speech. So make sure you have a killer opening and a killer closing. Prepare as if you are prepping for the Olympics. This is, remember, a high-stake presentation. Your career or life or marriage or whatever may depend on it. So make sure that you rehearse. By rehearsing, I mean rehearse out loud. Say the words out loud. You can't do this in front of a camera. The reason is when you record yourself, you can rewind it. You can see what you said. If that didn't sound good when you were saying it, correct it. Have something else. Then record yourself. Watch again. Did you like it? Go again until it's perfect. You can also rehearse wearing the clothes that you would have worn for the event, if you can, or something similar. Put yourself in that environment. You can add some noise in the background if you anticipate that the place you will be presenting will have some noise. Try to speak with that noise. Try to concentrate, be in the moment, and rehearse as if you are in the actual presentation. The fourth point I have for you is to anticipate the curveballs, because you may prepare very well, but something may happen. The projector may fail to work. If that happens, have a backup plan. Print out handouts. People can follow along as you speak, or they can look at it through after you are done speaking. If somebody asks you a hard question, a tough question that you hadn't thought would be asked, by time you can tell them maybe, what thoughts do you have about this matter? Mostly they will give you the response you are looking for. As they tell you what they think, this will give you some time to think of a response. And if you don't come up with one, then you can tell them, thank you for asking this question. Let me think about it and I will get to you in a moment. Then after that you will get to them, or after the presentation. If you call a client by the wrong name, apologize politely and then call them by the right name, of course. People will forgive the mistakes you make, but they will not forgive the panic you get when these curveballs happen. So always be ready for something. Then fifth, master the art of storytelling. This is very important. Facts will tell what you are talking about, but stories will sell what you are talking about. And the truth is that people won't remember your bullets. No matter how many bullet points you have, they will not always remember that, but they will always remember the story that you tied to those bullets. Let's say you want to talk about anonymous surveys. You can use the HERO formula with a problem, a solution, and the benefit, or the happily ever after. For instance, you are talking about anonymous survey and why anybody should do anonymous survey. You can talk about Sarah, this person who was facing all these problems in a company, micromanagement. She wasn't appreciated enough for the work she was doing. And although they were having all these ways of giving feedback, like suggestion boxes or just reporting on filling notes, Sarah couldn't express herself well because she felt that there would be repercussions of her reporting what she felt. That's why she learned something about anonymous video survey. And so she decided to introduce them to the HR so that she would also see if they would implement that in their company, and maybe people would feel more free to answer their question. And so the HR agreed and they introduced the anonymous survey. People felt open to the idea of giving their feedback anonymously without anyone watching their answers or anyone able to associate the responses with the individual, that the company started doing very well. There was low turnover rates, and the HR high-fived Sarah so hard that her hand was hurting. I've given a problem, the solution, and the benefits of that. And I have also used sensory details, like she high-fived her so hard that her hand hurt. These details will help people connect with the story. It will help them see the story you are talking about. Don't just tell them the story, make them feel the story, and that connection will make your presentation even better. Then sixth, follow up after the presentation. Your presentation is not done when you've left out of stage. Your presentation is done after you've sealed the deal. Make sure you follow up. Create follow-up emails. Create some responses in those emails. For instance, if there were any unanswered questions in the presentation, you can answer them and send them as a follow-up plan. Or you can personalize the follow-up. You can say, "Hey Mike, I liked your question about X. This is some additional information about that." When you do that, if you know your audience, if you have a killer opening and a killer closing, if you master the art of storytelling, if you know how to anticipate the curveballs, and if you know how to create a great follow-up, you will be able to create a nice high-stake presentation, and this may help you get the job you want, or the career you want to make, or just something you want to invent. I shall be talking about structuring a speech and how you can structure a speech in the best way possible. So tell me how you structure your speeches, and watch out as I will explain how you can structure a speech in the best way. Thank you.